think my wife descends from Norway. We did one of those DNA checks. So she thinks she's some fucking Viking now.
Yeah, I mean, judging by what happened, during the Viking Age, I would guess everyone in the UK are descended from Norway somehow.
I did mine, and it came out like English, and which, like, it's a bit like American. It doesn't exist. There is no English kind of species or like race or anything. We're just a load of mongrels. So like
species. I did
species.
I did mine too, Josh. And the understanding of my family heritage is that we were 75% Celtic from region from Britannia all the way up through Cornwall to the Isle of Man, Scotland.
Oh, is that why you lived there then? Is that why you moved there?
No. I moved there because I was working for the Navy, and we were out there working with the Royal Navy and Royal Air Force. And but
his last name is McCracken.
Yeah, it comes from Aaron. Originates from Aaron, Scotland, right? And the rest, my other side of my family's from Ireland. It was 25% German, so I did the 23andMe, and it came back that somewhere between like 1840 and 1880, I had a Scandinavian ancestor. There was this 5%, and I'm like, wow, that wasn't brought up in the family history, but there it is.
Yeah, so that wasn't talked about at Christmas.
That was the Viking.
Yeah. And I didn't think it was entirely accurate until it said, you probably don't have hair on your back. And I was like, yeah, that's true. I don't have hair on my back, so it could be accurate. And then there was another piece.
That also means you're not a gorilla as well.
Yeah, I'm not a gorilla. And then another piece of the data said, you probably have dry earwax. And I'm like, okay, I guess I have dry earwax. Like, is there such thing as wet earwax? Is it just like
I don't know. I think mine's kind of moist. If I have earwax coming out, it's kind of a bit moist. I don't have anything hard coming out my ears.
Yeah. Is it kind of like syrup, or is it more like a crayon?
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's more like a crayon that's been heated up.
Yeah.
I would characterize that as dry.
I actually heard once that the gene that gives you dry earwax also gives you very low body odor. Apparently, it's the same gene that does both things.
That I do smell. Yeah,
me too. Right?
If I don't shower, I stink pretty quick.
Do you guys?
Rick, he can just like cruise on through life.
Do any of you guys have the gene where what is it? Cilantro tastes like soap. Is it cilantro?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, there's like a gene. Apparently, people when they eat cilantro, they say that it tastes like soap.
Hand me some cilantro.
Yeah, I need to know.
We grow a lot of it. I've never eaten it raw, so I wonder. I always use it.
It has a very strong taste, but I don't know.
Yeah, apparently people that have
but
this
it's not too bad. It's just an acquired taste, I would say.
Yeah, it's strong, but I guess the people that have this gene, they just cannot eat it. It tastes like it ruins food. That's all
it look like? Sorry, Chris. What's it look like?
Well, it's going to be pretty gross looking now.
Well, yeah, that's you just literally just grabbed it with straight in your mouth.
It looks like parsley, but it tastes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like cilantro.
If it tastes like a leafy green, then you probably don't have it. You definitely don't.
Yeah,
I definitely taste the chlorophyll. That's kind of strong.
Yeah.
It tastes like chloroform, did you say?
He spit it out. He has the gene. If he didn't have that gene, he would have swallowed it.
I
mean, it does have an off taste to me, but I use it in food, like lasagna or whatever,
I discovered an interesting one, and I looked it up online because I noticed when I went out fossil hunting, I noticed that when I dried out the fossils, they would stick to my hands. They were dry. And I was like, why is that? Does this feel sticky to you? And I passed it around, and everyone was like, no, it doesn't feel sticky at all. Apparently, that's the mineralization in the fossil and the oil in your skin makes the fossil feel sticky. I have whatever that is. It's a weird trait. Yeah.
It's weird for someone who likes hunting fossils.
Well, yeah, it could be anyone really, but and I don't know how rare it is, but I ended up looking it up. Why does it feel sticky to me? And it's something to do with the oils in my hands react with the minerals in the fossils and makes it sticky.
Shit, I didn't Didn't know the human race was so fucking vast. But
that looks good. Bite it.
I think Lord has a point there. It's bull run is
Yeah,
when
no,
people come out of the bulwarks, right?
There's some that have been inactive for 2 years. Like there was
Eye of the King.
I brought up. I didn't even notice that actually.
He came back.
But I just happened to come across. Remember, was it Shredder became Forbes SPO of the year? And because I was trying to delete a load of Twitter, inactive Twitter people that I follow, came across that, and I was like, oh, she hasn't posted for a while. And it's like, oh, she was Forbes Person of the Year, and that she'd been gone for like nearly like a year and a half.
She was K Block, right?
K Block, yeah, which is still running, and so that pool's obviously been taken care of. But yeah, then someone else mentioned, oh, well, this guy just popped out of nowhere after 2 years, and it's like, oh shit, it's been active a month, and yeah, literally just came out. I can't remember who it was, but been gone. He'd been gone for 2 years. Then all of a sudden, just bam, oh, hello. So is that what happens? Like the bull run starts, and all the people just come out the woodwork.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all right, engagement now.
I think the question is, are they selling NFTs or applying for Project Catalyst proposals now that the bull run is back? Right. So that's a pretty good possibility.
Yeah, I came back and was like, does anyone want to buy my Twitter account? Just that was his first post coming back. I don't know how long his last post was.
Interesting.
Prior.
Who was that?
Eye of the King, EOK.
Oh.
You know who I talked to the other day?
Twitter account. Do you keep up the facade of your Eye of the King still, or do you rebrand it and say, oh yeah, I'm Bloom now, or I'm Ant now? How does that work?
You rebrand it and say that you're a crypto AI DPIN expert, and you put like credentials, like you went to Stanford University, PhD, you put all that in your bio, and then you troll Cardano people with it.
All right. Is that common practice then? Is that what happens?
It seems to be the case sometimes.
Lord, you got it mixed up, man. Cardano, Dan, and David Likes Crypto are two different people.
Well, David came back and made some banger videos.
Yeah.
Was he the IHK video guy?
David, I think David Likes Crypto. Is that the guy I was talking about who came out after 2 years?
Yeah.
He was good. Yeah. I wasn't saying anything bad about it, but it was just like, oh, that's weird. He'd been gone for 2 years.
Didn't say anything at all.
And I just happened to be pointing out something else. Someone else just had that and was like, oh, that's weird. Yeah.
But I noticed this after when the last bull market started, this same thing where people had been gone for a couple of years showed back up. And I was doom scrolling on Facebook Reels the other night, and I saw the perfect clip. And I made a little meme or whatever, and I put it on Twitter, but I don't guess anybody else thought it was funny, but I thought it was hilarious.
But
I'm also easily amused.
Whole bear market, like.
Yeah, the bear market. Some people hibernate because it's a bear. It's like, well, what am I going to do? They just collect and hold, stake, collect. And
actually,
hold.
To be fair, even in a mental state though, like you check the price a lot more in a bull market than you do in a bear market. In a bear market, you're a bit like, nah, I won't. You might check once a month, maybe, just to see how it's doing. But in the bull run, you're multiple times a day. What the hell is going on? Are we up or down? What's happening? So maybe it makes sense to maybe hibernate during the bull, but I think it's good. People still need to know information, right? Like of all the projects that are happening. Like you think of what happened between now and last bull run. Like we've got fuckloads of small stuff. Yeah. So
like smart contracts and
ecosystem. I was thinking more of just all the dApps and things like that,
and governance and like all of that stuff.
Yeah, we got 100,000 ADA governance deposits.
I think last bull run we barely squeezed in native assets or something right around that time.
Yeah, I think maybe towards
native assets.
Yeah, we had native assets, and then smart contracts had just gone live right before we got up to that spike. Yeah.
Yeah. Or,
So-
Has everybody here seen Kingpin?
Oh,
No.
what with
Yep.
I'm gonna play.
Woody
I'm gonna
Harrelson.
play this real quick just to get it out of my system.
What have you been doing all these years?
Well, no, there was just, for a while, drinking.
Are you still drinking?
No, I don't. That's behind me now. Why are you buying?
Anyway, that's not the right one, but I took that and I just put when somebody shows back up in the when the bear market's over or whatever, because it's all I mean every time it's the same thing.
yeah.
It's
I don't even
big.
think we're back in the bull yet.
No,
No.
we're not.
It's,
don't
I mean,
think
so
You think-
so this year Bitcoin had a bull run, Solana had a bull run, a couple other ones did really good since the beginning of the year, where they were in a continuous uptrend. They kind of had their own bull runs. Ethereum did okay. It had a up and a pullback, and then it came up again. But yeah, I don't think we're all the way there yet. I think
Do you remember what the
What do you
level
think
was
is-
for if you inflation adjust the or adjust for inflation the all-time high of Bitcoin? Wasn't it like around 80K?
adjusted for
I think it was
inflation.
100.
54. So
I think it was close to 100K.
Ouch. All right, so we're not nowhere nearable then.
No, it's just a lot of these coins are coming back to normal because ADA was slaughtered by the SEC in January of 2023, and then in June of 2023, January
it
got named in the
slaughtered?
Binance lawsuit, and then
Ripple
in
was
June it
slaughtered.
got named in the Coinbase lawsuit, and that just freaking killed the price. And Robinhood delisted it, and Robinhood just put it back on like 2 or 3 days ago, and it's like, damn, SEC did some freaking damage there. They really did some damage to the tune of billions of dollars.
I've seen the footage of Trump at the Bitcoin conference, and he said, "One thing I'm going to do is fire Gary Gensler," and everyone just went mental. And he's like, "Shit, I didn't realize it was that unpopular. Actually, I'm going to say it again."
You know when Bitcoin's going to skyrocket is when Ross gets freed. When they get Ross out of jail.
Yeah,
Ross,
Who-
the creator
I
of
don't know
Silk
this
Road.
story.
Ross Ulbricht.
Yep.
Yeah.
He created Silk Road, and he's in prison in Colorado.
Right.
And apparently he's in like some crazy, maximum security prison with like
Because he's so dangerous.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah.
And so I guess Trump had given him a pardon and was going to get him out of jail, and that'll be like huge. That's a huge win for Bitcoin.
Mm. Well, and
Symbolic.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
dark net in general, really.
Well, it's not even really about that, because what he built was a platform that allowed an escrow service for Bitcoin to be transacted in a safe way, regardless of what was being sold. And at some point in time or another, they tried to moderate the site by removing things that would cause bodily harm. Of course, meth still causes bodily harm, but there wasn't like hitmen on there or anything crazy, and guns and weapons. They removed all that. And so it was essentially a symbol of a free market and the ability to safely send Bitcoin and transact online with Bitcoin. So it, like Rick had said, it's a symbolism thing of, Bitcoin's utility, Bitcoin's security, and the free market. And so, yeah, what he was doing was wrong, but really all he did was built a platform, a market maker platform, and then let the world decide what was going to be sold on there.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
certain,
I mean, just to play devil's advocate, that is illegal, though. Like, you can't facilitate.
Well,
selling illicit.
What if you rent somebody a house and they're selling drugs out of that house? Is that your problem?
What about
No.
all the offshore
Yeah.
banking that takes
It
place?
is.
It's the same shit.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, that's a really good
back
parallel.
to the house
Craigslist.
argument. You're talking,
Yes.
you have no idea what's going on. He had he
Yeah.
knew everything that was
Yeah,
being
that's-
sold
that's
on
true.
Silk Road. That is
true.
different.
But the same thing could be said for Craigslist. And when the law enforcement goes
Right.
after the criminals there, they don't go after the creators of Craigslist. They go after the people
Right.
who are committing the crimes.
And put them in maximum
Yeah.
security prisons with 2 life sentences.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised y'all haven't mentioned the, apparent move to take off capital gains tax on crypto. That's been going around for the last couple of hours.
I haven't seen an official source say that.
Right.
I've seen Twitter posts. Have you seen anything official? Like-
It was the thing that I saw was somebody from the Trump team was talking about it.
That would be awesome.
I know there was one discussion where someone asked Trump point blank what he thought about that proposal of taxing unrealized capital gains, and he said he was going to crush it. But that's
Of course.
for sure.
Yeah.
The guy's an investor. He knows. That would be great. I mean, Puerto Rico already does that. If you're a resident in Puerto Rico, you don't have to claim capital gains.
Yeah, because then what are people going to do?
Garbage, though, isn't it? Isn't that floating garbage?
So
Kyle.
like here's
Oh,
the structure of it is crypto companies that are based in the United States, and there's a way to walk it back. Like with Cardano was founded in whatever Japan or Hong Kong, whatever. There's a way to walk it back so that your company is registered in the United States. But for companies that register in the United States, there would be no gains on those cryptos.
Wow, that would be huge for the
so if you
entire
go from
industry.
so if you go to stable coins, there's
Well, it makes sense to
no.
drive proof of stake, proof of work to the United States. I think at one point the United States was the leader in proof of work, like Bitcoin mining, and then I think China, after Antminer came out, I think China beat us in hash power. So to drive hash power back to the U.S., which of course affects the energy industry and so on.
I was going to say, isn't it all about the price of energy? Isn't that really now what it comes down
Well,
to?
not if you have favorable capital gains policies. Maybe
No,
not.
It's a huge thing. It's the reason Bill Clinton was able to show a budget surplus in the 90s was because there was no tax on internet companies in the United States.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Where I'd like to see the taxes put aside is for regular commerce. Because if you can do regular commerce right now, I buy tickets to the Cardano summit with ADA, then that ADA is converted, or there's a gains tax. Let's say I bought the ADA at 25 cents, and then I buy the tickets and ADA's 45 cents, and the tickets are $1,200. There's a 20-cent difference between when I bought it and when I used it to buy the tickets. Right. And then now that's where it gets complicated, and you got to say, oh, well, there's a tax on that 20 cents. Yeah. So that stuff needs to go by the wayside. It's a currency. What if you're buying it in yen or dollars? Oh, so instead of buying it in yen, I'm going to convert it to dollars and then buy something so that, whatever reason.
Well, I mean, just peer-to-peer, just peer-to-peer exchanges, right? Like it's the same thing. Like a few years ago, they tried to do this in Louisiana. I don't know that they were successful, but like a lot of Louisiana's economy runs peer-to-peer. Like flea markets and personal transacting between people, and the government was trying to make it illegal to do any deal with cash. And, like it's a huge thing. And it's the same thing for crypto, like if we peer-to-peer transact, whether it's services with one another or actual products, you set yourself up for, sales tax, capital gains, income tax, like getting taxed 3 ways just because you do shit peer-to-peer. And if you remove, taxing crypto transactions, then you actually free the economy, which, what do you do with your money? Well, you buy shit with it.
Right.
And you do pay sales tax, and it does generate liquidity in the economy in a way that benefits everybody, including the federal government. So
You think they'll ever get rid of income tax or property tax?
I think when states, I think because states are in the United States, states are responsible for education. They get subsidized by the federal government, and if Trump successfully gets rid of the education department, and states literally are responsible for their own educational systems, I think individual states figuring out a way to pay for education without taxing property owners will be the ones to really benefit.
Oh, yeah.
And probably the schools will get better too. So, but because it's ubiquitous or nearly ubiquitous that state education systems are funded by property taxes, that's a long road to hoe.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see. Jesper said, what was in the goodie bag Charles got from SpaceX, and did they give it to him, or did he buy it in the gift shop? I don't know what base he's at. I think he's in Texas. I don't think he's here in Florida.
He said he was going to California.
Oh, California. Okay.
Base in California.
Yeah.
Vandenberg is where they've been taken off.
He posted a picture of himself in front of a SpaceX model.
Yeah. I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, that's where the goodie bag he's talking about.
I would want a helmet. I want a helmet if I go there.
I often get those questions where if it looks like there's a World Mobile SpaceX partnership or Charles working on policy for the Trump administration, people will ask me, is that confirmed? Okay, all right. Dude, I am not sitting in these meetings with these people in the back rooms.
Well, why not, Rick?
I can't confirm anything.
I thought you were the cabal. Come on, man.
My cabal has failed me, okay? I'm not getting anything from my cabal. My cabal has failed.
Is World Mobile and SpaceX compatible, though? I mean,
yeah. I mean, those technologies are all pretty well refined. I don't see a problem. I mean, the SpaceX satellites can talk directly to a cell phone.
Well, this is my question. Is there a need for World Mobile when Starlink can go straight to your phone?
I say the same exact thing all the time. I think World Mobile's already been leapfrogged by Starlink.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks about that because bothering me.
I get lynched for saying that. And
I know.
I'm sorry, it's not beneficial to your bag, but
I think they can be complimentary from what I saw on the ground in the mountains of North Carolina.
Yeah,
maybe World Mobile could be used as a booster.
They're two completely different ways of attacking the same problem. So, but
one's a middleman
working together. I think how does that work? One's coming from like space. The other one's like a balloon up there, or an antenna over there, or like.
It seems like it's just injecting a middleman into it,
right?
And I kind of see how it might be useful still in like Africa or someplace, so that people aren't just.
But SpaceX has its Starlink. It has its limit. I use Starlink now, and it has its limits. When I first got it, I was getting like 200 meg. Download, and now like I did a speed check today, I was getting like 26.
Bust out the app. I mean, you probably need to move it.
Get a big one.
No, I've seen my coverage. I can see my coverage in the app, and I'm looking pretty good. I've got a tree here, but that's about it. This is as good as it gets. So
I can see World Mobile being used as a booster network for Starlink.
That's what they were using it for in the mountains of North Carolina.
Yeah.
Taking that one Wi-Fi
signal. Adam knows about it, like transmitting and broadcasting Wi-Fi signals across, I think he did it across like Lake Mead or something from his house to some other part of some other property out in the woods.
How did he do that?
I don't know. He's a fucking genius. I have no idea. You'd have to ask him. Where is he? Have him come in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How well does Starlink work when it's clouded though?
Oh my God! Happy birthday, nudes!
Happy birthday, dudes!
Happy
birthday, nudes!
Happy birthday, homie!
Nice. How old is he today?
Big love.
You can't ask how old. You can't ask how old a lady is.
Good point.
Starlink works when it's cloudy, but there is some attenuation from the weather. Like there's always
that is true, and World Mobile was not affected by that at all.
I thought that was
balloons might fly away,
there's
but
different frequency bands. It's like, your cell phone is medium. Your cell phone is long range frequency band, right? Lower speed, and then your Wi-Fi is shorter range, higher speed. So the World Mobile device blimp could behave as a shorter range, higher
very
speed
localized
mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now and plus it's up away from the up in the air, I guess. So clear from.
I thought the reason you wanted the bigger dishes was to get, deal with those issues and get faster speed.
Yeah, they could put a bigger array. They could put more antennas over a larger area on a blimp, and with the bigger array, you can get more signal and more speed, and then retransmit that at higher speed, much like your Wi-Fi router. You might have gigabit internet coming in, it plugs into your Wi-Fi, and then your Wi-Fi rebroadcasts that. And so it could be a very similar concept where the top of the blimp has an array of panels that receive very high speed Starlink data, and then transforms the signal into a higher speed format for a larger number of people.
It would need to be a compatible mesh network. I don't know. I know mesh networks are kind of old tech still, but work. But can you intermesh two different mesh systems like Starlink and World Mobile? Would they work?
Yeah, I think as long as it runs on TCP/IP stack will take care of it. It'll handle that all for you.
Someone asked about
get it connected and let it do its thing.
Isn't that behind the drive on this IPv6? Is to make all that stuff cross compatible and fast.
What's this banner? Hydra.family. What is that?
It's the website for Hydra to learn about it.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We just revamped the landing page, so it's a little bit more sort of friendly for non-devs. The rest of the documentation is still a little bit lacking, or could be improved. But
Trim, what do you mean by non-devs?
It's a type of human being that
folks like us.
Yeah.
I think the main question with Hydra is, what do I do with it? How does it make things easier so I don't have to worry about it, right? So Trim will take care of the back end. Delta DeFi is going to use a Hydra head, and it's transparent to the user. So the user, deposits their funds, and they use Delta DeFi, high-speed trading, high-frequency trading. And then when they're done and they want to withdraw, the head's going to close. They'll figure out the timing, every 30 minutes, every 20 minutes. And then your withdrawal will come back to the layer one once you're done with your savvy financial activities over there on the layer 2 Hydra.
So can someone explain what Hydra is like I'm 5?
Yeah, sure. So like you're 5. Okay.
Maybe 7.
Okay. So
Mature.
imagine a so blockchain is a little bit like a highway, right? You can get from point A to point B pretty quickly usually, but sometimes there's a lot of traffic. Now, Hydra is basically a way of loading all of your stuff into an airplane and just flying where you need to go. So you don't have to worry about any of the traffic that's going on the ground level. And you can do all kinds of things while you're in the airplane. So you can, move stuff around, issue transactions, smart contracts, whatever you want. That's very 7-year-old language, right?
and then when the airplane lands back on the highway, that's when it's reintroduced to the main chain.
So just that one big dump.
Yeah, basically. So you can do a bunch of things, and then the end state is what you want to bring back. And that's what actually gets settled. So, for example, with the Hydra Doom demo that we did at Rare Evo, we did 106 million transactions in 3 days-ish, which is more than, the entire history of the Cardano network.
And so how do we know that there is not any shady shit happening in that airplane before, during, or after takeoff?
It's a very good question, and it depends a little bit on how you spin it up. The ideal use case is if you are a part of the airplane, like you're on it, so you can, because all of the stuff that's happening, all of the transactions and everything needs to be approved by everyone on board. So if you're on board on the airplane, the only way that someone can cheat you or do something that you don't approve of is if you approve of it, which is kind of not how it works, right? But as soon as you're not on board and you're kind of just like, I don't know, radioing in to the pilot or something, then you have to be a lot more careful, especially if you're putting valuable things in there, because then, you are kind of at the mercy of the people that are running it.
Right.
So if the plane takes off with 150 people, it's got to land with 150 people. It's not going to land.
That is a great explanation. That should be a clip for everyone to understand Hydra.
Demolex, there's a lot of similarities, but it's not the same.
Yeah, so there's two main differences between Lightning on Bitcoin and Hydra. One difference is Hydra has multi-parties instead of just two parties, right? Because on Bitcoin or Lightning, you can just like have two people in the state channel. Whereas Hydra, you can have I think at the moment it's up to 8. In principle, you could have a lot more, but we'd have to change a few things. The performance obviously goes down with the number of people that are running this thing because everyone has to agree on everything. The other one is you can actually run, it's isomorphic to the Cardano ledger, so you can do smart contracts and you can do all the protocols and complex stuff that you want to do on Cardano, you can also do in Hydra. So it's virtually the same, but you can change parameters around. So one parameter that people love to think about is fees. You can set transaction fees to be 0. But there are much more interesting things that you can do as well. Like you can increase the transaction size limit by a bunch. So you can run ZK, not just the verifiers, but the provers themselves on chain inside of a Hydra head, which usually would take, 15 blocks or whatever worth of space to actually execute that thing. So you can do a bunch of things. It's not just if you have a bunch of transactions. It's also if you have something that is, a lot more complex than what is able to be run on chain.
So when you bring that back to the main chain and say you've essentially increased block size hypothetically, and you have all these crazy transactions, when you bring this airplane back to the main chain, does it jam up the main chain? Like if you have all of this to dump on the main chain, does that cause a problem, especially if there's already congestion there?
Not really. So how do I explain this? So it depends on how many UTXOs you have at the end, basically. That's the only thing that really matters. When you close it down, you have the final UTXO set, and that's what you're trying to bring back to the chain. So if let's say that you start with one UTXO and I don't know, you split it up twice, like you split it up to 1 billion UTXOs, obviously you're going to have a hard time getting back because that's way too many.
So what about like Doom, for example? You said you did 1.6 million transactions. When that loops back to the main chain for confirmation, what was that wait time looking like?
So nothing. You just close it because there was nothing of value inside of the head except basically the final stats, right? That's the only thing that really mattered. So that's the only thing that you need to bring back on chain. It could have been 106 million. It could have been 106 billion. It would have made no difference. Well,
so was it 106 million?
Yeah, in total. Yeah, during Rare Evo. So the 2 or 3 days we left the service running.
That comes out to 617 transactions per second, sustained continuous.
Yeah,
and those transactions were the screenshots, right, that were happening during the gameplay.
So every frame of the game as you were moving around, or even if you were standing still, like the game still progresses, every frame was a smart contract transaction. So it was 35 of those per second per player.
Y'all are crazy.
Yeah, it was really. I shouldn't even say it was. It is a really funny project because we're doing something even bigger, which is coming out soon. So,
are you going to tell us right now?
I think I might just tell you right now because I think we've finalized stuff enough where I can share a little bit of info.
No, we're about to get the alpha.
Do it, Trim.
So I don't know if you remember during the Charles's keynote at Rare Evo, he announced that we're going to be doing a Doom tournament. And that was, the first time I was hearing of it, which is always a bit of a fun challenge, right?
On that tournament, by the way.
But it was a really cool challenge, and I've been dealing with it. I had to ask for a little bit of an extension. He promised it for sort of the summit. We didn't really make it, but doesn't matter. It's coming very, very soon. So what we did is we're adding multiplayer, so you can play deathmatch. So instead of having just single player and like having a couple of people per head, we're trying to get about 6 people into each Hydra head and allow them to play deathmatch against each other. For a variety of reasons, we're actually creating a custom map as well, because the original Doom maps in the shareware version, they're not really suited for multiplayer. And because of IP rights and licensing and all of this stuff, it's just simpler to make our own map. So I think today or maybe tomorrow or very, very soon, we're going to be putting out some stuff, asking the community to pitch in and say, hey, we're making the Hydra Doom map. If you want to be a part of it, submit some stuff and we'll put it in there. And it's going to be, I'm hoping that this will be sort of both a battle arena for the actual tournament, but also sort of a celebration of the Cardano ecosystem. So we're going to send out, explicit invites to a bunch of projects, but also going to open up for basically anyone to submit anything. But there's a couple of caveats as it pertains to licensing and everything. Like you can only submit stuff that you actually own, like basic stuff like that. But I think it's going to be really, really cool.
That is super cool, man. Is that the first time Doom, the game, has ever been like a battle royale platform now?
Deathmatch has been around since '94 or '95. Me and my dad played way back in the day.
Yeah, I know it's been around for a while, but I always remember it being a single player game.
No, you could link your consoles together.
Yeah, you could play co-op. Yeah, you could play co-op, and deathmatch as well was pretty widespread, and it sort of led.
Only between 2 people, though.
That was only between 2 people, though. Back in
4
the original game. Oh, was it 4? Oh, a split screen on each.
No, I don't think they did split screen. You could just connect via router.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, we just literally ran a phone cable from my machine in my bedroom to my dad's machine in his ham radio room. That's how we did it.
Ham radio.
Yep. That is actually kind of how we're doing it now as well. Like, let me see if I have that. I have a backpack and it's like full of Ethernet cables. When we visited. There's a switch.
Who doesn't have a bag full of Ethernet cables though? Like,
so yeah,
the most painful thing is going to a shop and buying an Ethernet cable because you've got one somewhere.
I bet everyone here has one running through their house somewhere.
Oh yeah, I have like a 30-meter one running to my computer.
Yes,
I've got one running underground from my main house to my office. So
my wife hates the cable that's running through my house.
In the future, houses will be built, just Ethernet will be installed in your plug sockets, But have USB sockets on your plugs. You'll have Ethernet cables there as well.
3 going down my hallway.
It's
a problem we all have a problem.
I've had to replace this one twice since I've been in here because it gets so much traffic on it.
Yeah.
No, but the real crazy thing though, the biggest stuff isn't even. I haven't even gotten to it. There's going to be big prize money.
3 going down my hallway.
So for the tournament, what we're planning to do, because what is this thing? Like, okay, we're doing a tournament. Why? We're doing it because this is an opportunity to do an insane live, limit test of Hydra, right? It's really the point of it. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get as many people playing as possible to see how far can we actually push this thing, right? Because we tried that a little bit at Rare Evo, but it wasn't that easy to get people to play at the same time. So I think the most throughput we got was 7,500 or something. I saw a couple of screenshots around there. This time we're going to scale it up. And we're going to try and make it a sort of narrow time window for the qualifier to get people playing at the same time to really see, okay, how far can we push this thing? And we're doing everything on mainnet. So it's an absolutely insane limit test. And to sort of get people involved and playing, Charles has put 100,000 USDM on the line.
Dope.
Wow.
And
that's winner takes all.
That's my money. I'm taking it.
It's not winner takes all. Hey,
oh damn it!
Yeah, I'll just wrap up. Yeah, it's not winner takes all. Winner takes a bunch though. Like if you do win, you're gonna have a fun time and leave with a lot of money.
That's awesome.
I'd kick a lot of your guys' asses on Doom.
We should have like a Doom SpacePlace and play.
Yeah, I mean,
you should have a
go
Doom.
for it, cover it.
You know what is a really good marketing angle for this is get the Twitch streamers involved, the really big name Twitch
that's the plan.
streamers.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
very much the plan.
Because then you're going to get a whole bunch of it exposes
we don't want
a
the
bunch of
professional gamers coming in here. We want to win, Rick.
No, okay, Anthony.
Exactly.
Getting the professional gamers in is the win. That's the win, bro.
I'm definitely not going to win in Doom with professional gamers.
Yeah.
But then it's everybody win because Ada goes from 55 cents to 56 cents.
I'm just trying to win the
which is
USDM.
Divide that by 35 billion. What is that? Like it's a couple dollars. No.
Yeah,
I've got more chance of being a champion
Hey guys,
in
I gotta go.
the Cardano community.
We're gonna see Patrick from Unsig Patrick, Fun City Patrick. We're gonna go hang out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just stopped by. So love you guys.
Love you, Jenny.
Jen, love you.
Jenny, check your DMs.
Oh shoot, I will. Sorry.
Stay out of Jenny's DMs, Ryan.
He's got a picture in there.
It's been a rough week. I've been doing it all.
You.
Yeah, I'll picture it.
You're good. Oh God.
So yeah, I've actually been talking to Ryan over the past week or a week and a half about this thing.
He's in your DMs too.
He's in my DMs as well.
He's in my DMs too. It's mutual.
That is true. It is very mutual.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
You got
plan
pictures
is
in there too? Or...
I did actually send you some pictures. I think.
Yes, you did. Yeah. They were
some
very provocative.
Yeah, like a multi-headed snake thing.
Yeah, it evoked it invoked a reaction from me. Yeah.
Yep. Got me all emotional.
You guys are DMing your snakes to each other.
Yeah.
You meant
so when is this
double-headed one
supposed to go down?
So yeah, it's going to happen during the Constitutional Convention, so early December, so a couple of weeks from now. So yeah, it's time to rally people basically to get some buzz going, get the ecosystem aware of this and sharing, because the more basically prizes, they're fun. The tournament, the finale that we're planning, like all of this is fun and it's dressing and the custom map and all of this, like it's fun, right? But what I'm really excited about is like being able to limit test Hydra live mainnet, people involved. It's going to be insane, right? And when you see like actual metrics coming out of other projects, it's usually like one dude with like 3 servers running or something and just like doing stuff against each other. But this is going to be, player versus player versus AI in the beginning. It's going to be crazy. I'm really looking forward to see how far we can push it. So the more people we get involved during the qualifier, even if you're not, playing to win, play to push Hydra, play to see what happens, right? Because for all I know, the whole thing could break, right? It is a very real possibility. But
it's not working now. I can't get out.
But
so Trim, out of those 160 million transactions, how many of them failed?
None of them. It doesn't. So the only thing that can fail is if you try to cheat the game, and we left in a way where you can do that. Where if you restart a level on the same difficulty after moving a certain distance, it counts as you teleporting back to the start, because it doesn't differentiate sort of the game session in that way. So in that case, you're trying to submit an invalid transaction, right? So you're submitting, okay, I'm at position XY, and I'm moving back to position 00. and the map checks, okay, this is further than it is, mathematically possible to move in a single frame, so it just kills the game session for you. So you could count that as a failed transaction.
It's more of a game set rule.
Yeah, exactly. So you could count that as a, but it's not a failed transaction. It's just like it's giving out invalid because the next game state is invalid, so it kills your game. So out of those 106 million transactions, none of them actually failed, right?
Wow.
So we're not counting failed transactions. That's not how we do metrics.
I wonder what all the FUD people on Twitter are going to say about TPS after this goes down.
Oh, I have some things planned for them. I'm planning some stuff that can be shared. I'm planning some stuff that can be screen capped and shared.
Do you have some snakes that you want to send them? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I should send them all snakes. No, it's no. I planned some stuff, so it's going to be at Rare Evo. Like if you play the demo there, you saw all the gauges and stuff on the side, right, and all the numbers that were whizzing by. That's the point of it, right? Like it's the Doom game, it's fun, it's kind of like what brings people in. But the reason we're here, the reason we're doing this, is to demo the tech underneath, and that's what all that is about. We're going to go even harder on this time, right? So there's going to be more heads, more people playing, and so in single player, each player they contribute 35 frames per second, right? Because that's the game frame rate. During the qualifier, the idea is to have a single player play against 5 AI bots, because that's about the throughput that you can get in a single Hydra head. Which means that every single person participating in the qualifier is going to contribute around 210 transactions per second. So then you do the math, like, okay, how many people can we get playing at the same time? That's about the throughput that we're going to get. So I'm looking forward to seeing some, big numbers.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is
super cool. Just to set people's expectations, I rarely see technological advancements or adoptions drive numbers, with the rare exception of Doge, right? Dogecoin. But
we know what Doge is.
Yeah. Department of Government Efficiency.
What is this Doge?
Like, for example, the most adopted dApp on planet Earth that I know of is Polymarket, which runs on Polygon, but people can't even tell because it uses USDC as the product, right? As the financial tool, right? Yet during this recent run up, Pole coin the Pole coin didn't do as good as ADA did, right? Doge still does the same thing. So the tech really doesn't seem to drive the price as much people think it does. The Doge tech this 4 years is the same Doge tech as it was 4 years ago, and it did a 4x. Like it went from 10 cents to 40 cents.
But I mean, like if tech actually drove the price, ADA would be on top, right?
Like, yeah, it'd be number one.
But that's
It'd be number one. It's Bitcoin.
I mean,
Bitcoin without the Bitcoin power consumption.
Talking of Doge, like I posted like 5 days ago about the idea of, well, I think now's the time for Cardano to bridge to Doge. Yeah, I mean, because it's clearly there's going to be something involved, whether it's with Twitter or whatever. Just someone get working on that. But yeah, but then when other people tweet it, it all goes viral. So, but
I mean, it can't be that hard either, right? Like, because Doge is a fork of Bitcoin, right? We have Bitcoin OS, so we should have Doge OS.
That's what I mean.
By default.
It can't be that hard, right? But maybe only Bitcoin OS can do it because they've already done it once. They can just have a Doge OS.
Yeah, I mean, a lot, I guess, of things that could effectively, be very similar. Litecoin, isn't Litecoin a fork of Bitcoin?
Yep, they use Litecoin for testing of Bitcoin stuff beforehand. That's why.
Oh yeah, Litecoin. Yeah.
Somebody said so. Doge is cool now. Yeah, Doge is cool now. Freaking A, we live in a simulation.
I mean, I always thought it was cool when my early days of crypto. I would use it because I was buying a lot of Verge XVG, and so I would buy Doge, or if I had Bitcoin, I would buy Doge, and I would send Doge to CCEX.io to swap for Verge because it was so much faster than sending Bitcoin back and forth between exchanges. I would send Doge. Hell, I've got 200,000 or 300,000 Doge on. What was that damn exchange that collapsed?
Don't talk about that. I don't even think about it.
Cryptopia.
Oh, right, okay.
Mm-mm.
Man, that's enough to buy a new truck, Chris.
I'll never get it back. It's gone.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, I know.
Why you want a new truck?
A couple of us had PTSD of money just living in the ether somewhere.
Oh, speaking of new truck, a couple weeks ago, Nicole someone ran a red light and hit her truck, and thankfully everyone was safe, but she had to sell a lot of her crypto to replace her truck. So you guys are welcome for the bull market. Every single time we sell, that shit pumps.
You got to tell the whole story, man.
What? About the dude running the light?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, thank God, man. No one.
It's on camera, which is awesome.
Yeah. So thank God no one was hurt. She was bringing her daughter to school, so it was both of them in the truck, and her light turned green, and she was going through the light, and it was green for like 6 or 7 seconds, and this dude just comes barreling through the intersection right in front of her truck. She like T-boned him, and like the timing was like right there. And I guess when
she T-boned him, so it's probably worse for him than it was for her, hopefully.
Well, yeah, and typically in those situations, if you get T-boned, it's the other person that ran the light and clipped you. It just happened to be he was right in front of her, and she got him, and fortunately everyone was okay. And I guess the dash cam that she had, when you get into an accident, it saves it into like some secure file, so she couldn't pull it up on the scene. So I showed up, I pulled the SD card out of the camera, and as soon as I guess the accident happened, the dude walked up to Nicole and was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, I was trying to beat the yellow light, and that was totally my fault." And then the cop shows up and he asked for the camera footage, and that's when she figured out, oh, I can't pull it up. I need to get to a computer. And so I guess the cop went and talked to the other kid and was like, yeah, she can't pull up the camera footage. And then his whole story changed. Oh, she ran the red light, blah, blah, blah. So she was marked on the police report at fault. I got home, I pulled up the footage. I sent it to some of the guys, and her light was green for a while, and that dude clearly ran it. So I sent it over to the police officer, and he fixed the police report. But yes, buy a fucking dash cam. If you do not have a dash cam,
he made it worse for it. If he had stuck with his story of just it was my fault, then he would have got.
Always going to be your word against theirs. And the cop looking at the two cars, it looked like she ran the red light. She ran a light and T-boned him, when it was just by happenstance he was right in front of her when they clipped. But yeah, the moral of the story is spend the $100, buy a fucking dash cam.
Do you know, I've been thinking about it recently, actually.
You should.
I've got a new car, and I think
I've got the video loaded up. You want me to play it?
Yeah, if you want to.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I think this is the clipped. Yeah. So her light turned green. She's going nice and slow. She's not like blasting through.
Yeah, not even. Yeah.
And this dude just gets nailed. Whoa. That was a rowdy accident.
Did her airbags deploy?
No.
No. Yeah, it didn't look that hard, actually.
No, his car got messed up pretty bad.
Oh yeah, no, it would have. It's right off, I'd say.
Nicole's truck was considered totaled, so now we're dealing with insurance, but insurance has taken now 4 weeks, and So we had to sell some crypto and go start the journey of buying another truck. And of course, when we got hers, interest rates were way more favorable than they are now. Car prices were way more favorable than they are now. So no matter, even though it's not her fault, the conditions are just not superior to when we originally bought the vehicle. So it kind of sucked. So,
and the premiums go up on the insurance as well, even though it wasn't her fault.
Anthony,
and sure as fuck, as soon as we sell the crypto, the next week it just doubles. Everything doubles. I'm like, oh fuck, man.
if you had been holding Doge, you'd be in pretty good shape. I had to circle back.
Trim, I
So
just
buy a
sent you
dash
the
cam. If you don't have a dash cam, get a dash cam.
No, I'm gonna on that story. I promise
people that
now I will get one.
dash cams for Christmas,
Sure.
whatever. Get a dash cam in your car.
Lord. Trim, check your DM. I got inspired for a second. Let me know.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, the actual tune is not too bad, but maybe change the synth sound a little bit.
I can mess around with things.
Yeah, I thought. Were you making music there? I thought I heard some keys moving and shit.
Sorry.
Can we hear this? Can we hear it?
If Trent wants to play it, he can.
How do I play it? Can I share it?
I guess. I don't know. That's fine by me. I don't care.
Can I forward this to someone and maybe they can share it?
Yeah, send it to that guy up there with the hat.
Do I have you on sound?
Just play it live, Ryan. You got all that shit around
you. Go for it. I mean, you have all the stuff,
yeah,
right?
Hell, yeah. What the fuck?
I can't route it through here.
Fucking made it.
I can't route it through here. It's.
Can't you share your screen or something? You can play. You can share your screen and play.
Can you give him permission, Chris?
What program are you using?
Well, so I'm a couple.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah, I've got my DAW open, but then I have a Universal Audio is my engine for routing everything. Long story short, it's not my problem. It's this StreamYard's problem. It only accepts 2 channels of audio, so I can only route either my microphone or my DAW to my channel 1 and 2. I'll show you. Continue talking. You're good.
Yeah.
What the fuck did he just say?
No, I know exactly what he's on about. What he's saying is StreamYard can only take 2 channels, which is your stereo, your left and right. And what he's making it on is his sound card is coming out of a different channel, and that's what he's making it on, And
if you have it on your DAW, just bus it down. Bus it to the same channel in your DAW. Use buses.
I think we're making a bigger deal out of this 10-second soundbite that we should.
You don't know what mixer he's using either. So, if he's only using just a tiny mixer with only 2 channels on, then he's kind of fucked, really. But he's fine if it's coming out of a different output on his sound card.
I've got virtual routing and everything going on right now, so. It's
virtual routing. Okay.
You're asking him to do a complex technical task live on YouTube that he was not prepared to do, guys. Come on.
Fine. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, I get it. I get these technical problems, and sometimes you just haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. You're like, it should be fucking working.
It's like, dance, monkey, dance.
When I came on SpacePlace today, it was like, Josh, you're muted. It's like, oh, yeah, I forgot I muted my mic on my mixer because I was editing shit earlier. Shit happens. Sometimes you don't notice, and you're like, for days, you could be searching. Like, fuck it, the whole thing's broken. I need. Wait. It was just muted. Yeah, fixed now. Do you know what I mean?
I forwarded into the Space Coins Telegram thing, and I tagged you, Chris. So you should be able to play it if you're.
Yeah, beat Ryan at it.
Yeah, I'll go grab it.
That'll work. I'm not even gonna try it anymore. Good. Lord. No, we were playing around with.
Ooh. There you go. That's it.
Ooh.
That's like a speeded up version of.
I'm not even gonna touch that button again. I'm done touching buttons.
which I just happened to have on vinyl. It reminded me of Close Encounters. It was like a.
Ooh, is that
Should I put
Close
that
Encounters? Yes.
You know the conversation they have with the Simpsons stuff.
Yes, this is the way.
So yeah,
Can we hear this?
in either case, it's for the custom map stuff, we can customize basically anything at all in there.
Yeah, we don't care about that anymore. We want to hear this track now. Can we?
Yeah, no, that's why this thing became a thing.
It's just literally. That's just
that's the whole thing.
It's an idea to start and we can build all kinds of shit.
Aaron, play it again. Can we play it again?
That's the new intro song.
Hang on.
SpacePlace.
Wait. Can we
get the rights to that,
one more
Ryan?
time?
Yeah. There you go.
I'm gonna grab some drumsticks real quick.
That's what I was about to say. It's really great for looping.
It's
really cool. Yes.
What was that track I was singing?
I don't have no idea. It was
Beverly Hills Cop.
There we go.
Is that what it? Yeah, there you go.
If anybody wants to take that and just do something with it, it's in D minor and it's at 120 BPM, 4/4 time. Have at it.
All right, I got it. I'll sample. The thing is, it's probably got us fucking talking over it while we're listening to it. But,
Josh, I can just send you the audio. I can send you the.
Yeah, it does.
It's in the Space Coins chat. You can just download it from there. But it's supposed to be Locrian though. If it's like Doom music.
Do what?
If it's Doom music, it's supposed to be Locrian.
We can play around with that.
It's tricky to write, and I know.
What synth did you use to make that? So if we're gonna we're talking about sound now. So can we get geeky, Ryan? Can we get our geek on and talk?
Oh god, it's a retro synth hyper lead. Here, I'll how do I?
What sort of synthesis are we talking about? Subtractive, additive?
Oh, I did lots of things.
Ryan is like a modern day Beethoven out here.
No.
He's more like Schroeder from Charlie Brown.
We'll go with that. Hold on.
I would have thought Steve Reich would have been more complimentary.
Oh Lord. Hold on. Let me see here. Okay, cool.
Jane's here. What's up, Jane?
Uh-oh.
Hey, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Thursday, Jane.
Happy Thursday, Jane. We're doing this weird sound thing right now where Ryan is entertaining us with some custom tunes and Josh is interrogating him about how he did it. That's where we're at now. And then earlier you missed the part about Anthony and Sticky Hands fossils and car accident, all kinds of
dry earwax and all types.
I can't wait to look at it.
Jane, do you have dry earwax or wet earwax?
I profess to have no earwax.
Okay.
That's impossible.
Okay, so by extension, do you have hair on your back or do you have no hair on your back? That's a valid question.
It really is.
Was that for me or?
Yeah.
Yes.
No hair on my back.
Okay. Do you like cilantro?
Yeah, I do.
How have you remembered everything in this conversation?
You are genetically superior, Jane, in every way.
I cook with cilantro a lot, so I like it.
Oh yeah, okay. You're definitely genetic specimen. Yeah.
It's amazing. There, can you see my screen, Josh?
Oh wait, sorry, I was loading up my own thing actually.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Oh, we made them big.
Full screen.
Show us the magic.
What program are you on though? Are you on Logic or what?
Yeah, I'm on Logic. I'm on Logic.
Okay, because I need to get Logic. I haven't used it for a while. I've been using Reason because it's fun.
Oh, that's fair. No, I have a whole bunch of. I have a whole bunch of sound libraries I use on here, but
Propeller head. What synth is that? What model is that?
That's a Hyperlead. It's a retro synth.
Nice.
Propellerhead. They make Reason actually. But can you hear this? Did you hear that?
Yeah, that came through your microphone, didn't it? Is that
Oh,
playing off
really?
your monitors? Yeah.
Chris, why are you up here?
I might have to route this.
Wait,
There he
can
goes. It's going
can I load
downhill.
it into Suno and like ask it to extend it?
Yeah, you can. You can feed that in and go like make a 1 minute 20-second variation on this, and you can ask it to be in the mode of Locrian if you'd like it.
Well, it usually doesn't actually follow that. I've tried. It doesn't know how to do Locrian.
Oh, it has to. It's literally just a formula. That's all it is.
All right. Well, I can maybe not have to pay you then by just downloading this and extending it for a minute and a half.
Go to town, man.
We have pirated music in the Doom game now.
I give full consent to use my 10-second clip that I literally just diddied on my computer. That sounded terrible. I shouldn't say that. Oh no, that's bad. That's too
Do you think
soon.
that's the worst thing you've said today?
Probably. Maybe. I gotta think really hard about that.
Is that like a new adjective? Diddied? You diddied something? Oh man, I diddied that.
Maybe
it would never be a good term. Like
getting diddied and something would never be good.
I just diddied my dog, you know.
Oh god.
You can go to jail for saying that on social media in the UK.
Don't ever say it in front of kids.
Can you hear this?
Words of wisdom from Bob.
Oh wait. No, that's not good.
You know, it's funny, that interface has knobs on it. And 20 years from now, you know, a young person might look at that and say, what's a knob? Is it like an iPhone screen?
How would you like me to respond to that question, Rick?
Well, I don't no response.
I think British children wouldn't ask that question. What is a knob?
Yeah, they'll go, and because someone's going to go, yeah, here it is.
My dad's restoring some old ham radio gear from the 1950s, and it had chrome knobs on it. And so we were talking the other night, and he was like, "I'm trying to polish this knob."
I don't want to hear that.
This knob's stuck.
What's the next evolution beyond touch screens, do you think?
Just Neuralink.
Yeah, think screen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or at least those goggles, and it knows where you're looking, right? You can tell it tracks your eye movements.
Jane, what were you expecting us to say to that when you were asked?
I don't know. You guys are right.
That's just the lighting.
We're talking about knobs, and you went, "Yeah, what's going to replace touchscreen?" Yeah, we're all going to use our knobs in future.
Well, I wasn't going to go to the polishing knobs.
They have this really cool. If you guys ever heard of Revit, it's an architectural software where you can design houses and so on. But they have this system within Revit where when you design a house, if you have a big enough area, you can project the actual one-to-one floor plan. So they'll usually roll out like a canvas or a sheet in a big field, and then they'll project the floor plan so you can see how big the rooms are. And then you can put on VR headset and it will show you the actual walls and how, what the house will actually look like on the inside. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, no, I think I saw that actually. Yeah, architecture is going to change loads.
I would like to see a holographic screen, kind of like an Iron Man type of screen, because when you design something, seeing it in 3D on a flat screen is way different than being able to actually turn a part in front of you and see what that part will look like completed. That would be neat.
Yeah, it's funny. They always talk about porn driving tech, but like in 1995, I was in a German architect's office, and he had a 3D printer that he was printing his models with.
Yep.
1995, he dropped like 50 grand on this thing. It was like, it just blew me away at that time because I wasn't aware.
I went to just a couple weeks ago. They hosted FabTech in Orlando, and it's for engineers and designers and fabricators, and so it was this huge convention. And we went in there, and man, there was probably 200,000 square feet of robots doing every fucking job you can imagine in the manufacturing industry. Trim, is Trim listening to something or?
I'm distracted by Ryan playing with himself.
What's happening in here?
We were just jamming out.
You hear the rhythm, he's proper bashing one out on there.
I took the very silly 10-second soundtrack, uploaded into Suno AI, and I've just been messing around with it, and it actually generated a track now that kind of sounds actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'll go for the link.
You know where robots
No one can play it themselves though.
You know where robots would come in really handy? Robots with AI, firefighters.
That's a good idea.
Because they don't have to
use drones already.
Yeah, but the robot can actually pull a hose and it doesn't have to breathe.
Yeah, it just goes in and won't catch fire.
Yeah, you
make it out the same material you do the crypto keepers.
Yeah.
Titanium robot just breaks into your house and fucking hoses you down. Get out.
Nothing scary about that.
I want to see the sequel to Backdraft, but with the robots.
They'd also be good for fossil hunting because their fingers don't get sticky from the oil.
That's true.
That
is true.
How do you remember that whole conversation? I can't remember. Like sometimes I forget what I'm talking about mid-sentence, and you just literally
talking about the conversation we had 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I just remember Nicole was making fun of us because SpacePlace was such a shit show. She said it's just a bunch of fuck, right? and then so ever since then I thought I better pay attention.
I'm gonna try to get her on here one day as a guest.
Are you saying it's not a bunch of fuck now?
No, it's improved. It's
we got like L fixing his car without the camera on. Brian jamming out with some tunes.
Sorry, I'm just doing something with it now. You're good.
We're gonna want to hear this track when you finish, though. You know that, right?
Oh, we can. That'll be fine. I'll send a little ditty. There you go.
What's your favorite kind of music, Ryan?
Oh well, I mean, I'm a classical musician, so I live in the land of that.
Awesome.
Who's your favorite? What's your favorite piece?
My favorite.
What's your favorite composer, first of all? Come on, let's narrow it down first. Your favorite piece may not be.
Well, that's fair. Favorite composer?
We're going back from Baroque to Romantic.
If it's piano, it's Liszt.
Okay.
If it is orchestral, just symphonic stuff, I actually like Smetana. He's pretty cool.
Okay, I would have gone for Bach, but go on. Yeah, choral.
Choral. I like Renaissance music. So I'm actually a Tallis and Bird fan. I love that type of stuff. And then if it's contemporary living, Billy Joel is my all-time living favorite artist.
So and heavy metal.
What is that? I don't know.
I figured you as an Ed Sheeran kind of guy too.
Oh hell no! Sorry.
Yeah. You might as well have just said go fuck yourself, Rick. You really. After that conversation, it's just like, yeah, you really must like fucking Ariana Grande.
Believe it or not.
Calls it heavy metal? Is it because of piercings and chains and things like that, or is there something else?
I'm gonna let
strings of metal on guitars, I guess.
There's that. No, honestly, Ariana Grande, when she recorded Wicked, they actually sang it live while they recorded it. So you got to give her props for that. That's actually legit.
It's one of my daughter's favorites. That's why it came to mind.
She's actually got the chops, believe it or not. I mean, not believe it.
Yeah,
or not.
no, yeah, it wasn't a great example. All right, thanks for pulling me up on that. You could have just let that go.
Ryan, I gotta ask you. I mean, just for myself, I have my son. 10 years ago, pointed me at Hans Zimmer, and I have over the years, I have really started to appreciate what he does in films. With
What was that name, Bob?
Hans Zimmer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, didn't he do Gladiator?
He did Gladiator. He did Pirates of the Caribbean. He did.
Interstellar.
But he's done a load of avant-garde stuff as well. Like he's a proper. He's an OG and a proper musician.
Funnily, if you're ever going to want to go see something live that's quasi-classical, that has a whole bunch of classical music, go see Hans Zimmer live, because the production is out of this world. It is out of this world. There's like 500-something people on stage, and Monitor World. Yeah, Monitor World is crazy, because they have to, there's so many things that aren't real instruments that they have to create in real time, digitally, by taking in feeds from live instruments. It's actually a bigger production than a lot of stuff you see.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
They did that. They created instruments for the soundtrack of Dune, and then they took all those musicians and singers on stage and did that shit. That was pretty impressive.
Hans does what I just did. That little 10-second clip I sent to Trim. He has a team of other composers that work under him. So what Hans does now is he'll watch a film. He's like, this sounds like this theme, and he just plays it out, and then he just sends it to his people and says, all right, go, take this and run with it.
That's a good way to go.
So then they do a bunch of different.
That's what Bach did, right?
Have you guys heard of Charles Ives? He's an American composer. Yeah. I love Charles Ives as well. Like, I really like the avant-garde stuff. Not many people have heard of him, like over here at least.
He would write choral music while he was riding on the train.
Oh, I haven't heard any of his choral music actually.
Yep. He's got a couple of psalm settings. Yeah, they're really cool.
I'm more into I was more the orchestral stuff, the really crazy weird shit, and the way he incorporated like sort of nursery rhymes and shit like that. It was if anyone watching, check out Charles Ives.
Mike Patton is king.
I have nerdified SpacePlace. I apologize.
Did you catch the soundtrack of Oppenheimer though?
I haven't watched that film.
Really? Oh man! Like the soundtrack for that. The can you hear the music? Wow! It's impactful in the movie, but like, geez, just listen to that thing. It's unique.
The thing is, with good music, when you watch the film, it goes unnoticed. Like it seems to it's like good sound design in a film. Like you don't notice it, and I think I watched Oppenheimer. But the music, I don't remember the music. I watched it in the cinema, but I don't remember it at all. But I think that's a good thing, though.
Yeah, no, I don't know. There was something about that track that really stuck to me, and I went back and listened to it, and then I saw like some breakdowns of like what went into writing this and what into like recording it, because I think the weird thing about it is it changes tempo 47 times or something. And like
modulation.
And the musicians, they had to have like these little tappy things underneath their feet that went like 2 bars ahead of them so that they could get used to the new tempo before they changed. It was just doing that all the time.
Isn't that what a conductor's for?
That's kind of what we do. We flap our hands in the air. That's all that when people ask me what I do for a living, I just flap my hands in the air. That's it.
Are you a conductor?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh,
well, that's what I mean. But, so, like, when you were talking about having a thing, like, isn't that your job? Like,
yeah, I can actually.
Like, if you're like, you're gonna have this beat thing, but I'm gonna stand here still. Like, you're like AIing. People are AIing your job.
No, they never can. It is what it is. I'm relatively safe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. You're a conductor. I did a bit of it when I was doing my course at uni, and it's a lot trickier than people think. People think it's just some man going over there, but no, he's got control of the whole orchestra. And he's like, trumpets, or brass section, be ready, you're coming, and then he'll control how they do it. It's crazy.
Josh he speaks truth. Yes,
It does.
No,
It does. It's really hard.
It's tough. And then, but yet at the same time, you're keeping the tempo for everyone else as well. But you're looking around, and it's the amount they've got to do in one time. It's fucking mental. Yeah.
Yes.
And I only did it with a small group and found it tough. You know.
Yeah,
So
it's fun.
I was living in Germany in the 90s in Wiesbaden, and my in-laws had a subscription to the opera. And so, like, when they didn't want to go or they were doing a show that they'd already seen, my wife and I would get their tickets. And I had never been exposed to opera, and it was a trip, man. I really learned to appreciate it. You know, like I knew that Italians were freaks about Verdi, but I didn't know why. And there was this relatively minor opera he did about a girl named Louisa Miller. And there's this scene late in the opera where there's about 80 or 90 people on stage, and they're singing 3 different songs, but it's all got the same groove, and it just freaked me out. You know, it still gives me chills when I think about that, because it was so overwhelming, you know, in a really good opera house, that sound washing over you. It was really tremendous.
I mean, sorry, go on.
Well, I was just gonna say, and it was always funny. You know, like when I saw Figaro, I sat there, you know, and you're surrounded by people in black tie. I was sitting there.
He was in a hoodie.
I was sitting there having flashbacks about Bugs Bunny's version of Figaro, you know, and it would just give me the giggles, you know, because I knew all that music from the time I was like 5, but I never knew, you know, the original way to present it, perform it. It was a trip.
Mean, Figaro might be an exception for me, but I'm not a fan of opera really. Like my wife more is a fan. Oddly enough, more into ballet than I am opera. But you say Figaro is like, oh yeah, okay, you've got an exception there. Yeah, Figaro is obviously amazing. And there's probably there's a few more.
One of the funniest things I ever saw was this opera house's crew try to do West Side Story. And the problem with German theater was, like, you've got
even
singers.
The film makes me cringe though.
You've got singers who can sing, and you've got dancers who can dance. But in West Side Story, they had to do both, and it was such a mix of terrible. It was so funny, you know, like the dancers were pulling themselves around on the stage because they didn't know how to move right, and that was hysterical. I mean, in a bad way.
I don't know how I'd feel about it watching it, having paid to go see it, and then just like if my daughter was in it, like it might be like one of those.
Right.
But yeah.
Actually, you know, it's funny. The title.
My daughter does her acting things like every weekend, and you go and watch the performance, and I love her to bits, but they are terrible, and she is also awful. But yeah.
Wait, did I miss that? There's a SpacePlace Telegram channel. Did I miss that?
Space Coins.
Oh, Space Coins.
Yeah.
What? Hold up.
Yeah.
Do you know? It came up. Someone mentioned it on Twitter the other day, and I was like, "Oh shit, I better get on there." So I was like, "Oh no, I've been in here for years."
Okay,
I've been in here for ages.
I am here. I found it. Here, I'll post an updated sound file in the Space Coins community channel.
Very cool.
Thanks. You know what's funny is
how come you could play it and no one else? Who was it that played it? Was it Chris? Was it you?
I have no idea.
Who played it? Because I just couldn't be bothered to go through the same problems you just did to try and make a tune come out.
You're good. I just posted it in the Space Coins channel. You're welcome. I'm just playing around now. I'm just having fun. We're just gonna add things. If anybody wants to
we all heard you bashing it out, playing with yourself earlier.
Wow. Where's Kyle? I need him to say something inappropriate.
He will. You know, it's funny. The title of the space is called You Get the Horns, and people are going to dial in You guys would be talking about trumpets and clarinets and trombones and stuff like that. Well, they're talking about horns.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, a fun fact that I don't get to bring up that often. I have actually written a symphonic piece that was performed by the Oslo Philharmonic.
Whoa!
Wow.
Yeah,
Just mention that now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that often that I get to bring it up. So.
It's one of those things you don't get, it doesn't come up often. Like
no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Casual, yeah. That doesn't.
Yeah. No, I studied music for a while, so I wanted to be a composer.
I love.
How big was the orchestra? Sorry to really dig in. Having written symphonies myself, I've learned the struggles. Well, Ryan will probably say, like, when you're writing for an instrument, you know, like if you're like timpanis, you realise that, oh, hang on, I've just written a bit where you haven't got an arm, and they're things in a different pitch and shit like that. So how big was the orchestra, and what were you?
I mean, it was a full orchestra. The only thing that wasn't in there was organ and choir weren't there. So, yeah.
Okay, well, you're not necessarily
full gang. Full
you don't
house.
have an organ in an orchestra, really.
Wait,
like,
Trim, what did you write? Did you write it by hand, or did you use like Sibelius or Finale?
So I wrote it by hand, and then I just like put it in there. In
Oh my god! I was gonna say you're masochistic then. I was like, type it in there and work in C, and then auto transpose everything, man.
Yeah, no.
Well, hang on.
I feel like that's the musical
crazy
equivalent.
did it by hand.
But
How long is this piece?
Wait.
I mean, it wasn't that long, but it was. Yeah, sorry.
Trim, for all of our techie people, that's like the equivalent of writing something without a compiler or something like that. It's like, isn't that like the equivalent? Like, what's the equivalent of like?
I mean, it's like you're
it's like writing a load of code to write a program, but never actually checking it. You just handwriting it. And then you go, bang, it works. Because I knew it would work, because I knew what all the shit does.
Exactly. Like,
that's my view.
That's it. You write the pseudocode in assembly, and then you just like, put it into C++ when you need to get it to production.
I studied music for years, and this motherfucker's just making it sound, it's great.
What qualifies as a symphony?
It was all fine. Like, do you have trouble with like how a violin works, or like how
I knew how a violin works. Because like the setting was in Norway we have in high school, I guess, from 16 to like 18, 19-ish. We can specialize. You don't have like, it's not generic. You can choose to specialize in sports or like, basically more school stuff or music like I was doing. So I was playing in bands and we were learning all kinds of shit, like, composing and stuff. And I had this opportunity, so I took it.
What about leaving the brass section, the ranges of all the different brass instruments?
I mean, we had like, people playing all instruments.
Violin, viola, the cello, the fucking timpani, the fucking.
I mean, like
the fucking maraca. Like, I don't know.
Like if you're used to writing for choirs, for example, right? Like a four voice choir, isn't that different from like a string section, right?
Yeah.
But it depends how it's played, though. Still, right?
No, you think of each section as its own choir. So you have the winds, you have the brass, you have the strings, and each of them have an instrument that corresponds to. This is the part that sings or plays really high. This is the part that plays
this
really
is the
low.
baritone. This is the alto kind of stuff, and then you just kind of go by register, but you also you harmonize by register.
They're colors. That's what you treat them as.
And then there's a couple of unique ones like bassoon and English horn, right? Like those, they get special treatment.
or euphonium.
I was going to say euphonium. So you said English horn, I was like, we don't use that over here.
Now
we have a euphonium.
Now there's an instrument. All right, here's a top signal. If you guys see me post that I have purchased a titanium euphone from a guy, that will be the top signal. Get out of Cardano then.
A euphone? What's a euphone?
A euphone, it's like a crystal basilisk, except not. And it's a guy, there's one man in France that makes them. And they literally have crystal rods that are attached by titanium rods to a sound panel that flaps and has a cone on the end. And so you use ionized water, you dip your fingers in, and then everything, it's like having singing bowls or water glasses, but never go out of tune, and it never decays.
How many pounds does this weigh?
Like it can vary. It depends on how big it is. So, yeah, and it's like to the tune of like 75 to 100K for like a 3 or 4 octave one. So he's only made one of them.
My top signal is not as high.
No, there's multiple. There's multiple. It's the glass harmonica guy, or whatever the hell they call it. The crystallophone.
Is that the concentric circles thing?
Yeah. It looks like bowls.
Ryan, you can buy a tank for 75K.
I know.
You can actually buy a tank for 75K.
That's the American coming out in Rick.
Rick, I need to talk to you about your Audi experience. So when
that's the challenge, though. Write a symphony for tank. That's a challenge.
Okay, so wait. So Trim, would you like to know a little Easter egg? So that little lead I sent you, that audio file, if you notice, it's in D. So
you said D minor.
Yeah. So, but Ada. Think about the ticker symbol, Ada.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So is that what the chord sequence DAD?
Well, it's utilizing it's using that as a little thematic thing. So there's your Easter egg behind that.
Is that the structure? So that makes it so ABA is.
Oh God, we've gone way down the rabbit hole now.
Oh, well, I won't bother then.
No. Then like you take the rhythm and you like do that Morse code to spell out doom or something.
I'm gonna let your AI do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Ryan, you could have saved that Easter egg as like a bonus win. Like, how there's 100,000 USDM on the line for the Hydra tournament.
Yes.
If people could figure out the Easter egg.
Oh, that was $1 million, actually.
Wasn't
Well,
that million?
if they watch SpacePlace, they'll have a little heads up then.
Yeah,
I can add something else in there.
Yeah, and then they figure out, what is the Easter egg, and the Easter egg is actually this audio playing in the background that spells out ADA because the notes are ADA.
You know what we should really do? We should do like a spectrograph thing, like Affix Twin, and like have the Ada logo and then, like Nike and stuff.
Look at my Twitter profile banner. It'll make you happy.
Well, yeah, but we're not on Twitter, so.
Wow, he can pull it up.
But I tell you what, I've been thinking about this piece for a while, and I don't know how to.
I don't follow you. Sorry, I need to follow you back.
But so you think of a node in Cardano, like all the SPOs know what all the numbers a node is spitting out. So making that, put it in something like MaxMSP or something like that, and that triggering a load of stuff. And maybe the intensity of that changing, so you have this live music that's constantly changing, which is the Cardano network, and you can just listen to Cardano, and when it does certain things,
there is something like this for Bitcoin.
No. Truly, what we can do is you can have a frequency response based off of like a range of like TPS or however many, whatever, and have it alter based off of the total amount of TPS, and it can raise or lower the pitch.
I mean, it'll be probably atonal that way.
Does the block time subdivide into a nice rhythm?
Oh hell, I don't know.
Actually, well, it is to a certain degree, though, isn't it? Yeah, but it's not. I don't know how accurate it is for music. I don't know.
So, I put something in the chat now, in the private chat here. You can share it if you want. It's
Is this the Symphony of Blockchains?
Yeah, symphony.iohk.io.
Yep.
It does this kind of thing for the Bitcoin network, so you can like hear the Bitcoin network and you can explore like a 3D space. It's crazy. I didn't hear about this before I started the Doom thing.
Yeah.
So I was working initially. I was working with the guy that made this.
God,
this was it VR.
I remember that guy. That was Scott Darby.
Yeah.
Scott Darby made this. It was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so it is VR.
Yeah, it's VR compatible. Enter VR.
Right. Yeah. No,
You don't have to though. You can just enter it normally and fly around.
No, I'm gonna go in VR.
Wait, do you have what VR set do you have?
I've got the new Quest one. Okay. So I've got the old one, yeah, and then For some
You
reason,
don't, you don't
my
have
wife
the
just
Apple...
thought, "Oh, you haven't played that for years. I'll get you the new one."
Oh, that's so kind and thoughtful.
I want to see you put it on, Josh, because you'll look like a dude off a sci-fi movie. Go ahead and put it on right now.
No, I look like a dude in a sci-fi movie. I would tell look like the Count from Sesame Street.
No, can you raise one eyebrow, Josh? Can you raise one eyebrow?
No, I can't do that though. No, I can count though.
Do you have dry earwax?
Oh my God.
We've discussed. Mine is moderately moist.
Can you roll your tongue?
Sorry?
I
Can you do that?
Earwax.
Can you do that?
Wait.
These are all.
Do you have a hairy back?
Do you have a hairy back?
No, it's got a fuzz to it.
That's not a good answer.
If you shave it, it'll grow back thicker.
Hello. All right. Somebody have a waxing appointment? Is that what I heard?
It does now.
So there's two things.
Some people say I have a hairy back, but I don't believe so. So I call it a fuzzy back.
I bet Anthony has a hairy back.
I don't.
No?
Oh, it's all on his face. That's why.
Yeah.
There you go.
Even his armpits, there's nothing there.
I got some hair in my armpit.
Oh God.
Let's get that one on the Cardano betting.
Oh, so
bodega.
I do confess to medium earwax. I lied.
Here we go. Here we go. Now James.
You lied. Okay.
He's a moderate.
That's funny.
Yeah.
After hour confessions with Jane.
Well, usually musicians have the dry earwax because that way the fingers aren't sticky from the oil and it sticks to the keys on the keyboard. Because the keys are made out of ivory, which is like a fossil.
Well, they don't use that anymore.
You're putting your fingers in your ears, doesn't it?
No, but like if it's sticky, you get traction, right? So you get more.
Actually, I used to get quite nervous playing the piano. So my hands, me getting nervous, my hands get sweaty, and I used to slip on the keys and shit. Yeah.
Really?
I have a difficult time playing instruments because I write left-handed, so I'm always trying to figure out if I do something left or right-sided. So every time I do something, I have to try it with both sides to figure out which one works better. And instruments are fucking tricky for me.
Oh yeah.
Well, piano is like it's only one way. You've got low end and then you've got the high end.
Yeah, and
Like,
most instruments.
You can't go wrong.
No,
One hand will just be better than the other. You'll just have a good bass hand than you would a right hand.
They make reversed pianos to where they go
Yeah.
the opposite direction.
Oh, that is gay.
Really?
Wow. I would hate that. I would hate that so much.
They're really good for like repair. If you have any oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for?
I need a left-handed piano.
If you got carpal tunnel or something, want to try and
if you're
balance it out a little bit.
any neurological damage or whatnot, it's a really good, especially if you're a musician having to learn it that way. It's super fast at building new connections. It's really cool.
I'll have to get top. I've got a friend of mine who's a doctor in music, and he specializes in making like programs like accessible to sort of blind people or even deaf people, or just people who are physically impaired as well. So yeah, I'll grill him on that, and then I'll come back.
Sound is totally amazing. Have you tried like listening to a movie or whatever with no soundtrack, just the words,
I watched the Blair Witch Project.
And then compare.
The guy that created that was at the Wyoming Summit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, do you know, I saw that in the cinema, man. And me and my mate just saw it. We didn't know what it was. We came out of the cinema. It scared the shit out of us.
Yeah.
We were fucking petrified.
I actually have a funny story about that because two of my friends came out, Doug and Dennis, and they're in Cardano, but they're not totally involved in. I met that guy. I'm trying to remember his name because he did something with Ray from Grow Pool.
I know him. It's Kevin Fox.
Kevin. Yeah.
So he was there and he had comic books. He was giving away comic books. And I'm like, hey, you produced the Blair Witch Project. And he's like, yeah. I was like, the three of us saw that in theater together and you fucked us up as kids. And like, he thought about it and he's like, wait, he's like, how old were you guys together? And we were like, oh, we were 11. He's like, y'all are still hanging out? Like, I was like,
that was a bit young to watch the Blair Witch Project. They let
we were 11 at the time, and we went to the theater and watched it. It fucked us up for years.
Yeah, I mean, I must have been about 14, I think. It just makes me realize I'm older than you. But yeah,
so no, we 40.
We
you're
left, like
40
shaking.
now.
We were like, "What the fuck was that watch?" Like, let's find out and let's look on the internet, which obviously takes like 5 years to load up at the time. And it's like, "Oh yeah, no, some people lost the tape there." Like, "Oh shit, is that real?" It was just like, yeah, whole evening of what the fuck, what the fuck just happened? Yeah, that was a freak.
The whole internet was like a Tor browser back then. So.
Yeah.
That's Kevin. That's Kevin on the far left. That's me on the far right. There's Ron. Remember Ron?
Just casually playing.
Oh yeah, what happened to Ron?
He's still up there.
How is that sound coming out? What's going on?
Is it working?
The project.
It was really working.
Yeah.
It's working, dude.
Oh my god, it works, guys! That's crazy.
So you got it on monophonic.
Wait a
Was that on
second.
monophonic?
Oh my god, that's amazing.
That sounded badass. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
reckon you should
boring.
change that synth though. You should change it to like
Which one would you like?
Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh god. I'm gonna mute my mic for a second. Carry on.
Oh, and it must be a preset already on there.
So, did you guys?
It must be called Beverly Hills Cop preset. It must be just sitting there.
Did you guys see that Pay lost 100,000 ADA?
Yeah, no, I was gonna bring that up.
Oh my
That's
god.
fucking shit.
Yeah.
No,
Oops.
that's kind of like,
Oops.
like if someone like him can do that, like anyone can do that. Like,
Exactly.
with AdaPulse, I focus on like newcomers to the space. You know,
It was an interesting series of events today because Adam
and two
messaged
people have
me.
done it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, who was it?
Who's the other one?
Guy.
The Ika guy proposal.
Yeah.
They lost their
Yeah.
100,000 ADA too.
Yeah. So
no.
Really?
Adam messaged me today, or he messaged the chat today, and he's like, "Hey, Pay lost his 100,000 ADA, because he didn't register whatever his address or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, that's weird," because I talked to him today, and he didn't say shit about that. And Adam's like, "Well, you might want to check in with him." So I messaged Pay. I was like, "Hey, did you lose the 100,000 ADA?" He's like, "No, why would that happen?" I was like, "Oh shit, you don't know." And then he started messaging people, and they're like, "Thanks for the donation to the treasury, blah blah blah."
Yeah, sure.
Like, oh shit. So then he posted, and I think you know, it's just a matter of D-Reps voting on him getting it back from the treasury.
I
So I think he'll get it back.
Well,
Why did you lose it?
Everybody will vote.
Yeah, go ahead and explain it.
code is law, though, isn't it? Like, I mean,
No, law is law. Code is code. Code is not law.
no. Okay.
Sorry, I know.
Pay's always said to me, "Code is law." So
Rick is
that's
law.
why I said
I'm just
I know people have been saying code is law for a long time, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Jane knows law. Trim knows code. Law is law. Code is code. They are not the
I would
same.
agree with that.
Yeah.
So do you think he will? Do you think they'll get
Code is
refunded?
only aspiration.
Yeah, they'll get it refunded.
Because Hosky was suggesting like building up a budget just so like people chip in and just people so they both get their money back.
Yeah, just do a proposal and then refund
But
it.
why did Pay lose his $100,000?
So when
the wallet wasn't staked.
it's not
Right.
not stake, it's registered. So there's a
Oh, that's
registration.
he said staked in the thing.
Yeah,
but
it's
I guess
a
you have to be
registration
registered to
process.
stake anyway.
Yeah. So when you submit gov
You have to put it up for a proposal.
Right. And so there's a process in which you have to register this. It's terrible UI UX, and with all things considered, 2 out of 3 have lost their deposits. I guess after the chain one of the
I heard Andrew
it can't happen any longer.
Automatically after 30 days?
Well, yes, if the wallet was registered. I guess with the most recent update, that can't happen anymore. The UI UX does not allow that to happen anymore. Like you can't submit unless you've registered. So it won't happen again.
Already, though.
But,
that should have been something that was already there. It should have failed.
Exactly. So it's just part of the research and development. So it's not the end of the world. It just sucks because he's going to be without it for a while. He's going to lose rewards on it for a little bit, but he'll be able to get it back.
At least he gets it. If he's getting it back, then that's fine.
Yeah. And the D-reps just have to vote on it. It's another line item within the budget proposal. So
I'm glad it's been changed.
And if anything, it's just we're forcing him to diamond-handed. So we're gonna actually help him.
You know what?
What the real data for you, Peyton?
the real bet we should put
TVL?
on the.
Does that add to the TVL of Ada? Like it's locked.
It goes to the treasury, right?
Yes, it's in the treasury now.
All right, what do we think of this lead sound?
Yes.
Less
Get a bit of white noise on there. Can you get a bit more white noise on that?
More cowbell.
We have that. All right, we want some white noise and cowbell.
On that high synth, make it a bit more Beverly Hills.
Oh man. Okay, let me work
And
on
did
that.
you get responses to your request for the music for the SpacePlace?
Oh yeah, it's happening live.
Okay.
We're watching the SpacePlace music being made live.
That's a good cowbell.
There we go. We got this.
I can do a cowbell. That's
Did you record that cowbell yourself, or?
Oh hell
is
no!
that like a sample, right? Okay.
It is a VST.
It's a good cowbell.
That's what I thought. There we go. That's all we got.
And then the other thing was, Charles had tweeted the other day that he was going to sign some big deal, took off to SpaceX, and apparently there's rumors going around that I think it's X, Hedera, Cardano,
and Doge.
Are doing some sort. They're building some sort of voting, and if you look at the teams behind it and the companies, the businesses behind it, I think Cardano is the furthest along that roadmap when it comes to voting. So I think Cardano will have a big say in if we do create some sort of national voting platform.
Please send
a good chance.
It's like a year or two ago, didn't Charles just do a whiteboard and he literally just spelled out everything Doge needs, like for smart contracts and all that kind of stuff? He did a whole whiteboard. Does anyone remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's there's so much ridiculousness with. I mean, Elon is such a brilliant guy and he does so much, and then he supports Doge. I mean, it's just the dichotomy there. It just is me.
Maybe I think maybe he picked Doge because like the owners, the people who created it, they'd sold all theirs, so it was kind of like almost a decentralized thing in itself.
Right.
So he had money, just bought a shitload into it, and therefore he owned most.
It was just the irony of a meme coin.
I just think he does it for kicks. He thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
But now we have governmental efficiency, and he's promoting Doge, and it's like
it is still a blockchain. It does have blockchain traits and qualities. So
basically,
it has
I don't know any difference from Bitcoin.
Yeah, but it's got no max cap. It's got it's just.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's totally like
the developer
it's anti-scientific in my mind, and he's supposedly.
Well, of course, but that's the point of the introduction, to have Cardano involved and Hedera and all.
He's always called it a hustle. I remember him saying on some show somewhere, "Oh, Doge, that's just a little hustle that I got going on," which to him it would be, even though he's spending huge amounts of money on it. But
yeah, I just think it's amusing to him and on a personal level, and that's fine. But I don't get it as a business plan.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Doge is a business plan for Elon Musk. I think he just, like you said, he finds it funny.
It's a hustle.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
he was able to recycle the acronym into Department of Government Efficiency.
Oh no, I saw that.
Which is a new Twitter page. You got to go follow that at
which
Doge.
makes it even more funny. But if you're actually going to implement it, like if he needed really high quality code to operate the Starship or launch a Falcon Heavy, he's not going to use like he's not going to use mean code to launch a Falcon
I
Heavy.
hope not, Rick. I definitely hope not.
So
all his
what
rockets.
Weird.
He just likes being a troll. I mean, he just loves being a troll.
Yeah,
He's
he
good
does,
at it.
I agree with that. But I was reading something that all his the patents, like he hasn't all his rockets that he's been building for SpaceX, he hasn't patented any of it. Anyone can just copy and
No, it's
do what he
Tesla.
does.
It's Tesla.
No, Tesla. He already had patents, and then he released it out to everyone.
Right.
But SpaceX doesn't even have any.
Oh, really?
It's just like anyone just do whatever. Like, if you want to do it. And I was like,
Well,
yeah,
a lot-
great. Can I
a
borrow
lot of
some
that
money?
stuff was taken from reverse engineering old NASA rockets and various rocketry from around the world. So
I forget you worked in
space
aerospace,
industry,
yeah.
sir. Yep, I'm right up the road from them.
Has anyone seen any official sources? So I looked that up. The thing about, according to sources familiar with the matter, the system will be built in partnership between X, Cardano, Hyperledger, and Hedera. Now, the problem with that sentence is the sentence. According to sources familiar with the matter. Okay, that's not a source. I could make up anything. I could say, according to sources familiar with the matter, Elon Musk is going to release all of the information on space aliens from Area 51. Right? I could just make that up, and it's still an accurate tweet that doesn't warrant a community note because, according to sources familiar with the matter.
Right. Who's the fucking source?
And then someone could write a note that says, oh, well, you don't have a source. Well, that's right.
Well, journalists protect their sources, don't they? So,
well,
I don't know if you have the same laws in America as you do over here, but
yeah,
take them to court.
Journalists protect their sources, but then according to sources familiar with the matter, I don't believe it until I see something a little more solid.
It's a bit vague, familiar to the matter. It's just like sources within XYZ department might be a bit more believable, but then again, it might expose who the source is. So it's like there's a lot of fake shit going around,
Well,
right.
We have Jane here, and I've been wondering about this the last few months, Jane. It's like when I was younger, it seems to me that you used to see people sue others for slander or libelous statements, and yet over the last couple of years, there's just been horrendous shit said about a variety of people, and they don't fight back, right? They don't. And can you explain why that is?
Well, I mean, first off, lawsuits are expensive. So if you want to sue somebody, you got to have the money to do it and follow it through. And then it depends upon what jurisdiction you're involved in. So if you're in the United States, that's one thing. And if you're in the UK or Europe or the Middle East, that's going to be a whole different set of rules. And I just think people are kind of over it. They've become, with social media, people have become so tolerant of seeing so many different viewpoints and, quote unquote libelous statements and things like that going on that they just don't really, unless it's a big company with a lot of money and they're really feeling harm, it's not going to be worth it to them. I mean, you can so if you're in an industry and you're being sued for libel and you're a per se state, by which I mean if you're accused of a criminal conduct or something similar, that's libel per se, whether or not there's any damages. So you could get an award of $1, at least in the United States in many jurisdictions. And that's libel per se, but nobody's going to want to bring a lawsuit for $1. you have to prove actual damages.
Well,
And
so then, I mean,
very difficult to do that.
right. So then Trump's suit against CBS for the Russia story, you know, and refusing to recant on the Russia story. That's the first suit that I've seen in a long time, where somebody, like he's trying to get them to admit what they did.
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with that at all, but I know that Trump brings a lot of lawsuits, and it's like if you throw a bunch of shit against the wall, how much of it will stick? And he's got more money than most people to bring lawsuits, so he just may be doing it just for the power of putting out the fire, and not so much actually seeking a recovery. I think that it's questionable whether or not it actually goes to trial and whether or not there's actually a decision on it.
So
he's got the power and the money to snuff out a lot of stuff.
I think it's incredibly important because, I mean, I'm not sure, how many people remember this, but like the networks are given permission, to have the airwaves to disseminate information, and it used to be that they had kind of like a fiduciary responsibility to tell the truth. And I think that if he gets them to admit wrongdoing, then they have then grounds to revoke their license to be a broadcaster. But I don't know if those laws have changed, because it doesn't seem to matter anymore about monopolies in the media or anything like that. And I don't know how that happened, right? Because they used to fight that all the time in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, well, there's actually never been a fiduciary responsibility acknowledged by.
Well, I'm using the wrong word. They have a
yeah. I just think that the standards have changed, and now we're a lot less tolerant of being brainwashed in the media, which is a good thing. But I think that also there's less likelihood that there are going to be actual damages suffered by anybody because we're less brainwashed by the media. So if you hear something and you're like, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit, then you're not really damaged by hearing the wrong thing, because people don't really believe it. So
yeah, but that wasn't true. I mean, they did do damage to the whole democratic process throughout Trump's first term and into losing the election, because most of the country believed that he was complicit in this Russia thing.
Well, that's a more specific question that you're asking now, is whether or not people were, libeled by things that Trump said, which wasn't the first question. So I'd have to actually think about that.
I've seen this information dissemination evolve over time and what people consider libel. So what happened in the 70s and 80s and prior to that, the dominant source of information traveled over the airwaves to your TV set from the network news sources. So information asymmetry was extremely bad, and you had no way of knowing because it was a one-way broadcast. They transmit, you receive, and they had to follow FCC rules. Like they weren't even allowed to swear, not allowed to curse over the airwaves and stuff like that. But with the onset of the internet, that whole communication dynamic changed, similar to what Jane was describing there, where people have a little bit more tolerance for what's considered libel. Like when the airwaves were controlled by networks who had millions and billions of dollars and controlled by the FCC allocating them, libel over the airwaves was probably a lot more severe, or people putting out false information was probably a lot more severe.
It had a lot more impact.
Yeah, it had a lot more impact. But now the internet is the dominant source, and the dominant sources today are crowdsourced media, crowdsourced information, not centralized fact checkers, not centralized news outlets. Podcasts like Joe Rogan and Lex Friedman, they have way more viewers than most of these network channels. SpacePlace, for example, we got like 6 viewers right now. Holy crap. We got more people on SpacePlace than we have viewers.
And we're all in here.
We're all in here. The 6 viewers is us looking at it on the other screen. We're in our own little echo chamber. No, just kidding. But yeah, the information asymmetry has changed. And when I first started reading fact checkers, right, that came about, I don't know, 8, 12 years ago. Well, look, Snopes says this and the fact checkers say that.
Yeah.
Who's checking the fact checkers? Who's to say the fact checker's right? What if the
Right,
fact
who's Snopes? Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you guys saw the announcement. I posted it in the space chat. Apparently, well, Hosky retweeted it, so it has to be true. Apparently, Gary Gensler put out a memo that seems to indicate that he might be heading out.
Oh, that'd be
He'd
wonderful.
already done that. He'd already said he was resigning. Like,
Did he?
Yeah.
That would be so wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he already said
I mean,
he was resigning
I
before Trump takes office. So
You know, it would be better. So Gary Gensler, technically, if he wants to, he could stay in office until 2026, because that's his. That's what he's been confirmed, right? That he went
so
through
Trump
the process.
can't fire him.
No, Trump can't fire him.
He does. He can remove him from the chair position.
But he can put him. He can make him a paperweight. He could literally, okay, go. We can't fire you. Go sit in a corner. But it's actually better that he does resign, because then what happens is Hester Pierce has the ability to become the chairperson. One of the other 5 commissioners can become the chairperson. And so
Wait.
And that hopefully happens.
I thought it was Jerome Powell who he can't be fired, but Gary can. Am I wrong in that? Because I thought it was Jerome Powell who is actually in until 2026.
I think commissioners.
They asked him at the FOMC meeting that they said, "Hey, Jerome, would you step down?" And he was like, "No." He was pissed.
Maybe he
double
can
check
be
that.
fired. No, Jerome Powell. Listen, I think isn't Jerome Powell chairman of the Federal Reserve?
Yeah, he's the
right.
chair.
So Jerome Powell can't be fired because he
Correct.
is not a government employee.
Exactly.
The Federal Reserve, and that's a problem.
Private entity.
Federal Reserve is private, and he doesn't work for the government, and that's part of the problem that needs to be
Is that not scary that the Federal Reserve is a private company?
Listen, we can have an entire conversation about that.
Okay, is that a different?
Yeah, that's a stream. That's a fresh stream, I think.
I mean, all right.
Yeah, I thought
Do
Gary could be.
you know what I heard though about that? Just a little fun fact that I learned the other day. Do you know why the Fed was established? Apparently, there were a couple of actual physical, real-world earthquakes that caused a couple of banks to, like, I don't know, collapse or whatever. So that's what caused a lot of the bank runs, which led to the eventual creation of the Fed.
But
That's
see, they tried to
something I heard.
create in the
heard
States.
that.
They had tried 2 prior times since the founding of the country to create a private national bank, and it both times it failed. And part of them naming it the Federal Reserve was part of the general populace being hoodwinked into thinking it was part of the actual government. That's part, at
Like
least in the founding.
FedEx. Like
Yeah,
FedEx.
no, it was a fight the whole 19th century. I mean, that's why Burr and Hamilton were always fighting one another. Hamilton was in favor of a central bank, Burr wasn't. And that's why they shot Andrew Jackson. He was shutting down. There was a national bank for like 10 or 13, I think it was 13 years. Andrew Jackson got it shut down. It was a constant fight in the 19th century.
In all fairness, though, like in the UK, our monetary system is just as fucked up as yours, and we don't have a Fed reserve like that held by a private company. We got the Bank of England, and still does the same shit yours does. So, I mean.
Yeah, but it is kind of screwed up, right? I mean, the Bank of England's based in London, which is not part of the UK, and it does its own.
London is part of the UK.
Well, I mean, but it's its own thing. It's got a different set of rules.
There is something about the city of London that makes it its own thing, which is a small part of London, but it's all part of the UK. I don't think. any part.
But
of
I
it.
mean, you still have fiat, right? It's not. You don't have a fixed money supply, right? It's just constantly being.
Oh
made.
yeah. It's not backed by anything anymore.
Right.
Ours used to be backed by silver, hence the name sterling. But
Ryan, your baby is beautiful. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you. He says hello. He just woke up from his nap.
How old now? A few months?
6 months, it looks like.
He's
6
turning
months?
11 months. At the
Oh, my Lord. Awesome.
Is he babbling away?
Oh, yeah. He's just waking up now, though. So
I can't believe how long.
I know. It's been a hot minute.
Do you know, how many have you got? How many kids you got?
It's just the one, right?
Just the one. And
I thought it was
company.
more, but it's
Enjoy
just the
that childhood bit while you can, because they do grow up
Yeah.
and they become real fuckers after a while.
My
Yeah, so
daughter's on her
enjoy
second.
that moment. Just don't wish their life away. Don't wish them to walk. Don't wish them to talk. Just enjoy every
He
little
can
bit of
stay
it.
just the way he is right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Because mine called me an ugly shit the other day.
How old?
She's
How
8.
old, Josh?
She's
God.
8. That's my oldest. She's 8. I was in her room. She went, "Get out of my room, you ugly shit." And I was like, "Excuse me."
So
Like,
she's spirited.
do you know what that means? Where'd you get that from? Like, do you know what it means? She went, "Well, you say it." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Well,
my
that's true. Yeah, I do swear a lot, but only use words you understand." That was my rule.
Good teaching.
Are you near London? Because some of the most. Are you near London, Josh?
Yeah, very near. Yeah.
Some of the most foul language I ever heard in public was at High Wycombe. You know where High Wycombe is?
Yeah, that's actually not too far from me.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I'm walking through a public park, and the things that people are saying to each other, and this is like day 2 in England. Like this is my second day when I was just getting settled in, and I'm going. Does everybody talk like that all the time? There's little kids running around, and they're using the C word. That
right.
It's like Cardano native token, but it has a U thrown in there, and like, "Hey, Jeremy, suck my sausage," and I'm like, "Dude," he's hollering it across the park.
He can't even swear. Rick can't even bring himself to swear himself.
Well, there's little kids everywhere. I mean, I swear too, but when there's little kids around, it turns off, right? There's some switch that turns it off. And I was just like, "What the?" And so the answer is yes. That's just how it is.
But I spoke to a friend of mine called up. It's important to note he's black, and but his wife is white, so he's got mixed race children, and she's about 12. And when I mentioned about the ugly shit thing that he was called, he was like, "Oh, you don't know what Savannah called me?" And I was like, "Well, what?" She's like, "I was in her room, and she called me a black N-word cunt." And it was like, what? It's like, shit. And it's like, yep. So I've cut her off from my debit card. I've cut my wife off because she didn't back me up.
Oh, geez.
But, can you imagine that? Your daughter called you that.
Wow.
Hey, Natalia Rosa, what broadcast station are you watching from?
A better question is she funneling our stream through her broadcast? I'm just saying.
What's the pool?
Oh, she said one of your viewers watching from your broadcast.
What does that mean?
She's sitting in a television broadcast station with the power to all of a sudden put SpacePlace on a live airwaves broadcast. I'm just throwing that out there. With great power comes great responsibility.
No, keep your job, Natalia. Don't do that. That would be hilarious, but I don't know if it'd be worth it.
Not financial advice.
They said, "What, over the airwaves?" The internet, you can get away with a lot, but on the airwaves, not so much.
All right, I added cowbell. Last cool down, and then I'm getting off here. Are you ready?
Oh, okay, go on. Go for
we
it.
can use this for SpacePlace if you need it. It's fine. We can keep it really.
There's a lot
really
more sound effects on that one.
Yeah. Eddie Murphy approves.
You love the delay. You had to get the delay on at the end. Yeah. No, that was good, man. For what was just a quick ditty.
Yeah, I just throw up shit, and yes.
Yeah, I do that. I do the same. Like, you can do it sometimes. Shit just comes to you. Like, sometimes your best work, you make it in like 5 minutes. Yet you got other stuff you spend days on. It's just absolute dog shit.
That is that's just the funny things. This is like Trim probably knows this book.
Study of orchestration.
Sandler Adler. So there you go. That's the more real stuff. But yeah.
Brian Eno did a bunch of cards that are meant to be inspirational. So if you're getting a writer's block of when you're like writing music, you just pick a card and it'll be like something like what would your best friend like? And you'd be like, oh yeah, he'd probably like something like that. Do you know what I mean? And that was the idea of these cards.
Oh.
Yeah, they're quite hard to come by, but yeah. Brian Eno was pretty cool for that.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost like you ever have those journals that have like writing prompts? So like creative writing prompts. Each page is a different one.
Oh no,
Oh, I have one that Martin Lawrence. Is one that Martin Lawrence put out years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good, actually.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. Does it get you
it's Martin Lawrence, pro Cardano. I've seen some tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was starting to respond, and I was like, "Hang on a minute, is this the real Martin Lawrence? Is this his pony account here? Because he's now like world Cardano. Like he did there was like a little music thing he did. I don't know if anyone saw that.
Okay.
Yeah, I met him at Emerald Sound Studios in Nashville, and got to spend like 4 or 5 hours with him. And he came in. I was in there cleaning up cables and mics and putting up cases and stuff. I was teching on a session for somebody.
Right, hang on. Ryan's itching to leave. I can tell he was trying to say goodbye.
No, it's good.
Bye, Ryan. Get the fuck out.
I'm out of here. Hey, side note, shameless plug. Next week, Marketplace drops. Dun 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 dun.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's
All
get
right.
it.
What's going to mark the drop? Is it going to be like a build up and then?
Oh God, I don't know. Who knows?
We get to install an app on our phone or something.
No, you get to go buy some stream tokens and claim royalties.
Okay.
So
Whose dog is that?
Who's got the dog?
That's mine. Sorry.
we
that's a big ass dog you got there.
He's highly offended by other animals outside our house.
What kind of dog, Bob?
German Shepherd.
He's
I love shepherds.
That's a
smaller than that. That's
Spaniel. Bob. He's an American foxhound, and then there's we have a golden saint here also.
I don't know what that is.
That's cool.
That's a cross between a golden retriever and a Saint Bernard.
Oh,
fucking hell. Okay.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, luckily he's a small version, which is too big.
We're getting dogs soon. Yeah. But anyway, no, Chris. Sorry, you were talking about Martin Lawrence.
No, just I had that encounter with him one time. He was there to pick up some masters, and he was just he was just the coolest guy. He was like in there rolling up mic cables and.
Oh, so he proper grafted.
Do what?
It was proper grafting. He was proper doing the usual.
Yeah, he was a super cool guy. And after that, I was like, then I started watching some of his movies, like The Black Knight. I'd never seen that, so I was starstruck or whatever. He was like the first celebrity I'd ever actually had a conversation with. And I was young. I was like 20.
Doing a lot of posting.
Do what?
It seems like recently he's been doing a lot of pro Cardano posting.
Yeah, no, that last
in
the last day or so, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which is awesome.
I'm still waiting. He hasn't followed AdaPulse yet, so if he needs to get on that.
Poke him.
Yeah.
But
All right, I'm
is he
punching
always
out,
been
guys.
pro Cardano?
Yeah, we've been going for over 2 hours now. You guys about ready to cut it?
Yep.
Yeah, I need to go.
Yeah.
Just
follow
good
this
hanging.
now.
Ladies and
Good
gentlemen,
hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy mini bull kind of return to normal. Not quite a bull
Half
run yet.
bull.
we're getting there.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
getting there. All right.
The bulls are growing.
There you go. That's Bob.
Aw.
Hey,
Bob.
Bob.
Hey, Bob.
That looks like a good boy.
That's a good
Joe.
Very cool.
It looks like a
Thank you.
giant